Tales from the Tavern was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience.
I'm Commander Shepard, and Tales from the Tavern is my favorite stream on Twitch.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Tales from the Tavern. I hope you all are having a lovely weekend. I am having a super exciting time getting geared up with all of these guests. We've been having a ton of fun laughing in the back room. Let's see. We were listing off Native American town names in New England, and we were talking about the toppest of guns. And it's been a good time. So I'm going to let everybody go around and introduce themselves, and then we'll talk a little about the stream and how everything works in case it's your first time here tonight. So as you can see, we have lots of Dans. And then we have a David, who we're going to change his name to Dan, and then we have Dandy. So we're going to start with the one who actually goes by Dan. Dan, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I'm Dan. I go by Dungeon Master 33. That's my Twitter handle. I am on Only Dan's D&D, a fun stream that you can find on Twitch and YouTube, and at Only Dan's D&D on the Twitters, where I am a part-time player, part-time DM, as Danny and I trade off the role every arc to keep things fresh and exciting. I've been playing TTRPGs for like 3 years and have been a DM the entire time. So it's my life.
I hear that's how it goes sometimes.
Yes. If you want to play and no one wants to DM, someone has to DM.
Someone has to DM. That's true. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm excited to get a chance to chat a little bit.
I'm excited to be here.
Danny.
Hey, I'm Danny. Also Dan, also part of Only Dan's, also the other DM of Only Dan's. I go by DannyNat20 on the internet. I am all over the place. You could hire me to DM games. Besides that, I have been playing and DMing for 10 years or so. I like games. Let's play. Should we play a game? No, we're interviewing. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah. I mean, we could play a game, but we would definitely be here a long time. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you back on again. So thanks for coming to hang out. Danvid.
That is my Christian birth certificate name. So, hello everybody. My name is Danvid. I am the not Dungeon Master, but Dungeon Master for From Afar podcast. We play D&D bi-weekly, and we're looking for Atlantis right now. You can. Well, actually, no. Right now, we are in a bit of a side quest situation. We're doing some cool Spelljammer stuff, and it's been pretty fun with the good folks over at Good Better Quest. They are literally top tier. And let's see. I do voice acting stuff. I'm on some shows with Waffles Maple Syrup. I'm going to be on Spontaneum this Tuesday. And then this Okay. Actually, okay. This is the thing I'm actually very excited to talk about. For the last 2 years, we've been doing this collaboration with 2 podcasts that are no longer podcasts, unfortunately. Know Your Role and Discount Dungeons. We just released this big collaboration with them called Gardens of the Storm, and we are doing this Friday over at our Twitch From Afar podcast. You can find most of the cast members and the DMs talking about what it was like to do a 40-plus hour 9-person D&D one shot between 3 different podcasts. So the announcements for that will be happening very soon. But that's it. Sorry, I took a long time.
That's all good. David, I'm excited you're here. Thanks for coming back again.
I'm excited to be back. It's always so good to be here with you, Luna.
And I'm not going to make you eat hot sauce today.
I have it just in case.
I was going to say, why not? Come on.
And then we have Danvid's brother, Dandy.
Hello, I'm Dandy. Hi. So I'm on From Afar podcast with David, my older brother, who I'd like to think I made some people believe I was the older brother for a while. That was a fun time. So I'm on From Afar podcast. I love everything in the community, every single thing. I love it, no matter what. But I love Tales from the Tavern, so I'm glad to be here for a second time. And I'm already madly in love with this group of people, so I'm really excited to see what we have to talk about, especially Mooselick McGunkin. That's what I'm excited. I'm really glad I was the first one to say that. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at From Afar Podcast. That's really what I do. And yeah, David's my DM. He's my brotherly master, if you know what I mean.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Felt bad.
I'm going to leave that alone. Andy, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming on and hanging out. I can't wait to talk some more. And Daniel.
Yay, that's me. The last Dan here on this pod. I'm at Burnell Dan on Twitter. I've been on, the funny thing with the Twitter is that I joined it to follow just Critical Role, and then it just spiraled into all of this so far. But I've been playing TTRPGs at least since AD&D, when my brother started to play with a group of friends, and I've been into tabletop RPGs ever since. I love a variety of them, but I always end up just playing D&D because that's what everybody has. I've actually played 4th edition and actually liked it, so nice. I know that's shocking for anyone to say.
Starting off hot.
Yeah, I'm part of Only Dan's. If some people haven't guessed, I wish the other Dans were on too, but I know they're busy. So, hi Danny Jade, hi Dana, hi Munchy Dan. Hope you're all watching.
There are a lot of Dans.
Yeah. We tried to get them all, but they were not quite like Pokemon. We could not catch them all.
There's more Dans in the Only Dan's podcast?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, there are.
How did you all swing that? We have a hard time just getting people to the table, but you were like, no.
I mean,
Only Dan.
It was just, I remember the day when it started too, there was this huge thread of, hey, there's a lot of Dans here. We should all play a game.
Oh my God, there's too many Dans. Wait, no, too many. Stop Dans.
Yeah, Danny actually sent out that message. I think it was to 27?
Yeah, a whole bunch of every Dan I followed
Dans
on Twitter, which was a ton apparently.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't. Oh, okay, I don't want to start us off. Sorry.
Oh my gosh,
that's exquisite.
Super excited to be doing this. This is my first time with this pod. I know I should have listened to this before. I've seen you advertise it, but work gets weird. So
it's all good. It is all good. Trust me. There's a lot of people that are like, I should have watched this before. It's okay. It's totally fine. You're here now, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for those of you who are just turning in for the first time and have never seen this stream before, basically the way that everything works is we take all of our questions from chat. That's how it goes. So if you have a question that you would like to ask this group of amazing people, feel free to drop that into chat. I have a moderator that will make sure that the questions make their way to me, and we will have a conversation about it. If you have been around for a little bit and racked up some channel points, you can use the Ask My Question next, and that will bump your question up to the next one in the queue. So that would be one way to make sure your question gets answered tonight. And as Ray Mayhem very nicely demonstrated, there is also a redemption for cat treats for my cats. I have the cat treats ready to go. I have no cats in the room at the moment, which is kind of shocking. But I'm sure one will make an appearance very soon. So cat treats are sitting on my desk, ready to go. And so let's get this show rolling. So I'm going to start off with a question, and because we have some people that have never been on here before, I have to ask the traditional first question that I ask all new people. When you are playing a TTRPG at an actual table with real dice, do your dice have to match?
Yes.
I'm just going to throw this out there. My teenager just brought one of the cats in and set her on my desk.
Cat's just like, did someone redeem some treats?
Yeah. Well, this one, Daisy, is particularly camera shy. You will not see her. She figured out how to stay below the camera, like where the camera can see her. So,
Cats are
yeah, she is currently like the top of my hand. That's just under where she is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think so. For your question, I think I can only not match my dice. I think I can never. My dice cannot match. If I see matching dice, I smite them from the record. I say, get behind me, Satan, with these dice.
Yeah, I try to, but I buy too many bags of like pounds of dice, you know? So I've got so many random ones that it's like, well, I like this one today. It looks pretty today.
Yeah.
But I gotta at least incorporate it somehow.
That's very similar to what I do. I usually just reach into this bag and hope that I get whatever. Oh, I need to roll a D10. Nope, didn't get it. And I just keep kind of shifting around in there until I find it. Let's see.
I guess we're getting a D6 today.
Yeah.
Good luck, guys.
I got, the ogre's weapon just went down to a D6. Good job, y'all.
Right? Yeah.
But, yeah.
I don't have to have mine match. Currently, for Only Dan's, I roll with a matching set when I am rolling for flicks. My fairy barbarian, my Barfarian.
Oh my god!
Say. But that's because my best friend gave the dice to me for my birthday this year. So I'm giving them a chance, and they haven't rolled a natural one yet. But the D6 likes to roll ones, so Danny likes to have me roll the D6 for outcomes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that got hectic last time.
But I have like sets picked for when I DM. I have a full 5 sets, so I have each chromatic dragon set of dice, but I will roll them however I see fit. And then I have 3 sets of dice for my home campaign that I'm a player in. And I just roll whatever die is hot, and often it's not the pretty ones, and they anger me so much because I'm like, you're beautiful. Why won't you roll well for me?
Those ones go on the
Just be
shelf.
better.
Yeah, I mean, I have like a few sets in my dice tray right now, and like I mix them, especially when my paladin starts to smite things. But I have them all nicely lined up in order from highest to lowest because my brain is dumb like that.
When he's up, always, you know.
Yeah, I also want to say, as many dice as I have, my wife has a bowl of dice in our kitchen because she's a dice goblin and I love her to death. And she's
My
only
wife-
just started playing D&D.
My wife owns 98 sets of dice.
Holy.
That sounds
That's
about
not
right.
including my sets of dice. She has 98 sets of dice. It's insane.
I don't even know.
About
That's
$11
amazing.
a set. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right?
I can imagine, Daniel, in your house, if you have like a bowl of dice in your kitchen, like next to like a bowl of fruit. Imagine that going real south, real fast.
Yeah.
These crunchy strawberries.
Right. We don't put the bowl of dice next to the grapes.
These grapes are like low poly or something. Did it load all the way? This is so strange.
These grapes are shiny.
Your
Why do
grapes
these
are
grapes have
metal.
little hamburgers in them?
Well, I guess I gotta eat it now. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I got.
Anybody who knows me knows that my dice have to match all the time. If the 20 starts rolling badly, I have to swap out the entire set because now they're all tainted. That's how it works. That's the rule.
Yep.
And also, like, seeing like David keep all of his dice in one bag, like, gives me nightmares.
What? One bag, Lena.
Well, I can't do that. All of my dice are in their own containers, and
Here's
they're
another bag.
No! Oh my
Here's
God!
another
It's
bag.
terrible. I can't.
I have a
got
bag
more.
for my bags.
When does it stop, guys? Come
I
on.
have, like, I've made myself dice bags, but they're little and they only hold one set of dice. Yeah, all of my dice have to stay separately from each other. So, like, they're all in their own containers. I was actually, fun side note. So before the stream, I was talking about the iced vanilla latte gummy bears that I bought this weekend. And part of the reason that I like this particular brand of gummy bears is because they come in this great little plastic box, which is amazing for storing dice afterwards. So yeah, like
Brilliant.
this set, which I happened to win from a Far podcast giveaway, now lives in a box that had gummy bears in it at one point.
That's so cool.
Oh my! Wait, I think I remember that stream. I think I remember something like that.
Was that the Lord Richter stream?
It was a fundraiser one that you guys were doing. It was the one that I jumped in and ended up giving away a dice bag for.
Yes, that was the Lord Richter.
Yeah, I think that was Lord Richter.
So yeah. Yep.
Very fun.
Yep. Cool. All right, we've had a couple of questions come in from chat. So let's see. We had an Ask My Question next from Vertrox Nightblood, and he would like to know, what book, movie, or franchise would you all like a TTRPG of?
Stormlight Archive. Easy.
Damn it, Andy, you stole my answer.
So Brandon Sanderson, I'm sure I've talked about him, I think, on several streams, but a very good fantasy writer. Wrote a Stormlight Archive, which is about basically different sects of paladins. And I hate paladins in D&D, but in this game, in that game, it'd probably be great because there's like 10 orders of them. They all do really cool things that are very dynamic and different. So Stormlight Archive, I think there's a Mistborn TTRPG, which is the same author. I just Googled it. I don't know if there's a Stormlight one. Maybe I should Google that, but that would be awesome.
I would have to say Redwall by Ryan Jacques.
Thought there was a Redwall TTRPG.
Might be.
Are you kidding me?
I think there's some like rodent folk that are playable races, but I could be wrong. I didn't know if there was an actual Redwall thing.
It might be.
I
Could have
would.
swore I saw it in my local game store.
There probably is, yeah.
Time to Google the answer.
I think so because I think Duval
I put down.
does a Eulalia like Redwall fifth edition style.
Is that like a
RPG.
homebrew thing?
I could be recorded. For sure be wrong about that.
Nick is in chat. Scry Society says Humblewood is big Redwall vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, Nick.
yeah.
You know
Yeah,
Humblewood,
for sure. I'm also seeing Wanderhome is like Redwall inspired.
Oh,
Humblewood's good too. That's
I just
Wanderhome
got-
looks really, really.
it really does.
I just bought it's like a D&D light, or it's like it's pitched as like D&D for beginners. It's called Animal Companions, and you just play as like not like humanoid dog. You just play as dogs, like dogs wearing armor, and it's very sweet. It's not quite like Humblewood or like full on Redwall, but if you're looking to scratch that furry itch,
scratch behind the ear.
yeah, scratch that better. Scratch behind the ear. Animal Companions is good. I think a world though that I would want to see a TTRPG in. I mean, both those are so good. Redwall and Stormlight. Has there been like a Cars TTRPG? Because that could get kind of silly.
That would be phenomenal. Oh my gosh.
Welcome
Just
to Radiator
Mater.
Springs.
Yeah, Mater as a friggin' paladin. Just all right. I'm gonna divine smite now.
Brings the hook around.
I'd play it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That would be really
Dave,
fun.
are we designing a Cars tabletop? Are we all designing a Cars
Yeah,
tabletop?
let's do it. It's gonna happen now.
Yeah.
Yo,
I will be thinking about it tomorrow. That's for sure.
Except for that, we can't call it Cars because Disney.
vehicles.
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 Don't
Hey,
worry,
if they
I'm
can make
creating
bootleg
the Twitch
movies, we
channel.
can make.
I'm gonna start the Discord server for that right now.
Oh,
Can-
man.
Can we make one called Toppest of Guns?
Toppest of
for
guns.
sure.
Can we merge the two and just give all our vehicles guns?
Death race.
The planes in vehicles go to Toppest of Guns to learn how to be fighter planes.
There it is. There. Oh, so it's a
cool.
story about Maverick's motorcycle. As it takes him to Toppest of Guns.
Toppest of Guns.
Oh man, what a day! I just want to say it. If this gets organized or needs help getting organized, let me know. I would play in this and organize this. Sounds very fun.
It does sound very fun.
Oh man.
Jesus.
Oh,
I watch a lot of cartoons, so I'm gonna quick say two of them because I think of two.
Go for
First,
it.
Adventure Time would be fantastic and easy. And then I've been watching the Owl House, which is a Disney Channel show.
I've
which
heard
is really
about
good.
that.
I've heard about that, yeah.
Which is about like they're doing magic and witches and stuff, and it'd be very fun. Very
Excellent
cute
choice.
Yeah, Trevor just said Owl House is great.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, it's
But
been
he said
very
it in
high
all
on my
capital
list.
letters, so he was yelling it. I'm trying to
Equilibrium would
think.
be fun.
So the last movie that I watched was the new Hocus Pocus movie.
Ooh, how was that?
No spoilers. It was okay. I was the age group that, it was catered to when the original came out. So I'm like, okay, well, I have to watch this one because I have to. Like, it's a law. And so I watched it the other day, and yeah, it's not bad. It was, it's geared towards still like that 8th grade, like freshman in high school age group. There are some callbacks to the original movie. There's some like backstory that you get in the new one that you don't get in the original that you're kind of like, they talk about in the original, but you don't like see it. So it's kind of, in that regard, it's okay. But like, I don't think it's going to become part of my regular fall movie rotation. So
It's unfortunate.
yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off. You were talking about Hocus Pocus.
Oh, I was just saying that was the last movie I watched. So of course that's the only movie I can think of right now.
That would be a fun setting though, like a modern day town with like a bunch of like fantasy wizards and witches like showing up, like wreaking havoc. That could be pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Dan, did you say one? I'm trying to remember what yours was, Daniel.
I've been sitting here thinking, and it's like, like a lot of movies and books that I like and have read are already RPGs. Like Dresden Files is an RPG already, which my brother bought me. I was gonna say like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but they have a game called Toon that I've seen like once. But I mean, like my weeb answer would be make an official Final Fantasy tabletop RPG. As I stare at my Final Fantasy Ultimatum archive book right here, holding up my iPad.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about anime worlds yet.
I know.
There's a plethora in there that would be
Demon
amazing.
Slayer, 100%.
Oh, yeah, I'd get behind that. Sword Art Online, which like
Haikyuu. Come on,
yeah,
come on, y'all.
So
I
One
I
Piece?
just want to.
yeah. My character is a middle blocker.
Oh yeah, Full Metal Alchemist. That's another good one.
That'll be very
That's
good.
my favorite. I was gonna say Sailor Moon, but I actually have a Sailor Moon TTRPG. So
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
I hope somebody's taking notes about all this because
Yeah, there's a lot of good.
Particularly vehicles.
Yeah.
No, we need vehicles.
We all know what, like how you just said vehicles, and we're all like, yes,
Yes.
Like,
Copy that. Made it
Demon
happen.
Slayer has a TTRPG that's been released by Yen Press.
all right, where's a
Really?
good reaction? Where's the reaction for this? There it is. There we go. David thought that was me once. He was like, "Andy, how'd you get on the Twitch emote?"
It looks like your silly face.
I was
I mean,
like,
it does kind of, but
I'm
Well,
like,
you have this like there's like a photo of you somewhere where you're like, ooh, and like it looks like that.
oh man,
Get
all
off
right,
my
let me BRB looking that up right now.
Yeah.
BRB.
That is one of the
Verb.
cool things I think though about TTRPGs is like I think we've just like showcased it here is like just like the idea of like group role playing, group storytelling can be like put into any world and any setting. Like just get the right group of friends and the right group of people together
Yeah.
and just make a really cool story.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be like a super. I mean, like, you can use any system. Like, you know, if it's as long as it's like not. You have to be able to, you know, for something like D&D, for example, you have to be able to separate out like the lore from the game. But I mean, you can really there's a lot of, you know, a lot of good systems out there that are setting agnostic. So
Yeah. Kind of like a
Yeah, I have a lot of different books, and I don't think I can get my wife to try a lot of them because, like, I'm anywhere between, you know, what is it, Monster of the Week, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Vampire the Masquerade, the anime one, The Big Eyes Small Mouth, Ryutama, which is one I really want to play, Root I really want to play, but I feel like there's vastly different groups for that, and I literally only am near 3 people who play, so we're gonna try running. I'm gonna try running Cthulhu for my group this month.
oh, cool.
very cool.
I'm just throwing it out there because I've been talking about it for weeks. I am in the process of scheduling a GM my first game of 10 Candles.
Luna, if you need an extra seat filled up, let me know. I will be there.
I am so excited.
I just played.
Amazing.
We played 10 Candles last year at PAX, and I just played again this couple months ago for my roommates, and I love that system because it's just so. It is very bleak, unfortunately, but it is it's just so light and just like it allows not just the GM to tell the story, but like it allows the players to be like, all right, what do you want to do? Like literally like create this story with me, and it's very. I love it. It's an excellent one. Good luck. That sounds very fun.
Yeah,
I
good
am
luck.
super excited. I was like, this is one that I can probably I could probably do this.
Yeah.
Oh,
It-
there we go.
It's just a little anxiety inducing with you're just watching your candles go down. You're like, oh gosh, here they go.
Yeah. I have to. So this was. I thought this was super cool, just because I always need an excuse to show off my dice. So for my birthday, because I've been talking about running this 10 Candles game for so long, my boyfriend got me glow in the dark dice.
Oh, that's
hell yeah.
amazing.
And you can't really
Those
see it,
aren't
but
fun.
I did just charge them up, but they're a little bit glowy. I don't know if it'll.
Yeah, stuck them in a sun box, kind of.
I actually have a UV flashlight,
Nice.
Hell yeah.
but yeah.
I'm charged.
So I have a glow in the dark. I have a regular set that he got for me, and then I have like a regular polyhedral set, and then I have a whole set of D6s just for
Very
10
cool.
candles, and I'm so excited.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Has anyone ever run a game of Fiasco?
I have it. It's within feet of me, but never.
Okay. Yeah, I bought it like years ago, and I'm like, I should run this, and I just haven't done yet. So.
What's
Sounds fun.
Fiasco?
It's a game. Well, it's like it's kind of GM-less, but not really. Like you need the GM is a player, but also has to is the only one that knows all the rules. And if a fiasco happens, I mean, it's
Oh, okay.
Just in case you weren't sure.
Bad happens, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah, I
Love
heard
it.
it's like kind of like described like a Coen Brothers movie that you like play out, So like, and you can supposedly play it in 3 hours or something.
Wow.
It's like it's like a movie.
Party game, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Jason or Shadow Man in the chat just said that.
Yeah.
I love Coen Brother movies. Those are great.
They're
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun system. Like I've heard a little bit about it, but I don't know. You guys will have to let me know how it goes. Okay, so Ray Mayhem has dropped a couple of questions into chat, so we'll dive into one of those. And I feel like there's a story behind this question, but I don't want to get into it. So the first question that she asked is, have you ever had a crush on someone else's character or NPC?
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Like, does that mean like personally, or has our character?
That's what I'm wondering. So I'm going to say
Interesting.
either or.
Okay.
Where things
Unless
get
Ray
really
has
weird.
a preference. Ray, if you're still in chat, let us know if you have a preference as to how we answer that. But I'm going to say either or.
I think where things get really weird in that question is when a DM/GM has a crush on one of their NPCs they've made. It's just like, what? Do I love myself? What is
Myself so much.
Self-care. Self-love. In D&D.
I think I have been a part of a couple much more role play heavy sessions where people have put like a lot of effort into their characters, and there's like a lot of backstory, and they really bring like their A game when it comes to like presenting that at the table. And there's definitely been some times for myself where it's just like, wow, like this character, I know they're fake, but like I want to just like know more about them, and like I want them to be real, because the player does such a good job of like making them seem real, and then like when you kind of take the veil of the blinders off, like, oh wait, dang, you're still fake. But it's a yes, and it's yes, but it's kind of strange.
Plenty of times. I definitely am also the kind of GM who's like, yes, everyone is hot. like every character is hot, every NPC is hot. Why not? It's a made-up world. Everyone can be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can
that's fine.
confirm through his descriptions of NPCs for Only Dance.
I mean, you know. But
With a name like, oh, sorry, go for it.
I was about to say the same joke. I was like, and the name is Only Dance. That's right in there.
There it is.
You know?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely a big fan also just of like, you know, in games, if you're the characters falling in love or having romance or things. I do like romance in games personally, and so I mean not every game, but you know, the occasional one. Only Dan seemed like it'll be a little silly to do, but like you know, some other games are very good for that, and yeah, big fan.
I kind of have a crush on Danny Jade's character Danae in Only Dance. It's like she's such a fascinating character, like, and she pulls off the quirks that she designed the character around so well. It's just so much fun. It's a very interesting character, and having her like head up social interactions is so funny because her character is described as like impossibly beautiful, and she leans on that. She's like, keep in mind, DM, I am impossibly beautiful.
She's like a 10 charisma too.
Perfect.
So she just like her voice is like 3 seconds lagging behind whenever she speaks.
So sultry. This sort of speaks to me a little more of like just like the awesome creativity like in the space, because like there's only like a finite number of like PCs and NPCs we can actually make. It's like, all right, here's another half elf ranger or whatever. But like when the player gets behind the wheel and starts like moving forward, that's when like they get the personality and they get like like you said, like the quirks. And I think sorry, to rephrase my answer a little bit, this is gonna sound weird. Yes, I think I have gotten crushes on characters when certain players are playing them, if that makes sense.
And that player is myself?
When it's only me.
So-
I've only ever fallen in love with my own character.
That's
No, not true. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've played it because a lot of TTRPG playing I did was the dreaded elementary school and high school when nobody has any idea what they're doing. And that, of course, was way before you had everybody talking about the right way to play. You know, be respectful and all this other stuff. So it's interesting to me now that I'm actually in 2 serious games. I know in game, you know, my character respects Danny Jade's character because we both follow the same deity, but I don't think he would ever have feelings for her. But she's a hoot, though. I mean, it's so funny to watch her.
An impossibly beautiful hoot.
But it is funny, an NPC in my in-person game, one of the players has a little bit of an affinity for, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's my simple answer.
Man, it's hard because there's so many, right? Like every character, it's like wow. Oh wow! Hello.
Welcome
Hello,
in, Raiders. Holy moly!
Raiders.
The holiest of moliest.
The holiest of
just talking
molies.
about all the crushes we've had on you know, characters, OCs and PCs and NPCs and OPCs, all of them, just everyone. Yeah, okay, so I think there's 2 that come to mind, so maybe 2.5. So like
2.5.
the first one was David played Mama Bardosa. And this is where it gets kind of funny because it's David, right? So
I just have to say, like, I've been listening to your podcast, but I'm super far behind, and I just made it through Mama Bardosa's.
Yeah, and like
she was so much fun.
It's fun, like, because I played D&D with David basically every game I played. David's basically been there. So like, it's fun seeing where we came from and where we are now. Where I'm like, damn, David. Damn. That sultry Mama Bardosa. Let me get more of those scenes. But so that's probably the one that comes straight to mind, and that was really fun.
I didn't know that. That's very creepy.
I mean, like, that's like if you had to choose it, right? But,
No, I
we're
know,
just
I know.
100% honest. And then the other one, honestly, Nolan's character in our side quest is really tickling my heartstrings, and it's great because like they're like a non. I don't even know if they even have a gender, which is like even more like amazing about it. So they're playing Slalsa in our side quest, and they're in a Lithid, right? They're in a Lithid.
Yeah, they're a mind flayer.
Oh no!
The way Nolan describes them is just like very subtle and like very demure and like very like just like it's he does an excellent job, and I agree, Andy.
Yeah,
Salsa's hot.
and I found myself playing more of the non-hetero PCs, so most of my characters usually fall for one in the party. Remember like Pasta Boy, and then this one with Thragon. Thragon's like, damn, Salsa.
Yeah.
Get back over here and talk to me.
Well, that brings up, and I'm sure the Dans have come across this too. Like, there was a moment in From Afar when we were playing, and like the scene started kind of going towards like a more not like sexy time, but like more romantic. And I like remember looking up at the screen, like seeing my little brother there, and I'm like, no. This isn't gonna happen today.
Why'd you stop? Keep going.
But luckily, like in our main story, like there was one funny moment where like I think there was like I described an NPC as like very attractive or whoever, and like somebody made a joke like, oh dang, you gotta watch out, and then like all the players like, nope, we're married, and like moved on. I was like, hell yeah. Let's wholesome boy.
Yes. And I think too the definitive word in the question is crush, not So it's
true.
Minor.
I was going to say there's not a lot of wholesome in your content in that podcast, but that definitely is really cute when they're all like, "Oh, my wife this and my wife that." Yeah. I'm like, "Aw."
They're all old veterans just trying to get back home.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're all like we called ourselves the Furious Fathers, but then we got a non-father in the group, so we're like, well, now what is our name?
Yeah, we gotta find
Jeez. Come on, Knox.
What the heck, Knox?
Be a father.
Yeah, geez, way to ruin it for everyone.
Nox is wonderful. Speaking of Nox.
Yes,
wonderful.
Nox is amazing. Hi, Nox. I know you're not listening, but hi. It's funny actually that this question came up because I was just discussing this over breakfast today, or something similar to it over breakfast today, and I was saying how, like, as a player, I can't, like, I am not capable of having a character that has any sort of romantic interest in another character unless it's played by my significant other. And I don't even think that's anything to do, like, with consent or anything like that. Like, it's just I am not capable of it. But I did have a character one time that was in a relationship with an NPC, but it was like this very off the screen, like, more kind of for the story thing. But man, when that character's ship got blown up, I felt that. That hurt. I was like, and then the DM, and it was a streamed game, and the DM's like, and that's where we're gonna end, and I'm like, no, we can't do that. That hurt a lot.
My wife's character in our current home campaign is a princess, and she's like less than a year away from, like, legally having to marry. Like, it's the royal custom. And so she was like, all right, I guess I'll, like, go on a date with this one guy that seemed, like, capable at, like, some sort of competition that they saw, like, his adventure group competing. And she was like, yeah, I guess I'll ask that guy on a date. And I made him just the douchiest. and like an absolute frat boy type. And afterwards she was like, you did that on purpose. I was like, maybe I did. Maybe I did.
Maybe. It's hilarious.
Oh man.
That's funny. All right, so Ray had another question, which I like this one. What is the coolest in-game moment you have ever witnessed or played?
I say I've got a funny one. I attempt to keep it short. So I bought, I think it was the Essentials kit to try to teach my wife D&D because she's, like I said, she's a dice goblin. So we were playing through, and I had intended a bunch of orcs to attack the lodge that they were at, and I was expecting her, the character I was playing, to support her, and an NPC to run. No. Her halfling rogue challenged the leader of this orc warband to a duel. And the best part was the orc shaman was casting Thunderwave. And I'm like, oh, that's right, because you're in melee with her, you get an attack of opportunity. So, she hit, and then I rolled for the orc to, try to lose concentration on casting the spell. I rolled very poorly, and so I told her, I said, all right, your halfling takes her dagger, jams it through the orc's hand, and she loses her spell, and then and then the orc surrendered after that because she had, like, hardly any hit points. And I'm looking at my wife, and she's got that smirk on her face. I'm like, I can't believe you did that. Like, one of the first time, I mean, it had been a couple sessions in, but it was a narrative that just beautifully weaved itself in. And even to this day, I'm like, Jen, I can't believe you just jammed that dagger right through her hand. But yeah, that was the coolest one I think ever for me so far. At least, from what I witnessed. So
that's cool.
That is really cool.
In Auroriath, in my home campaign, Everspring, the capital city, has this arena where, like, competitors from varying levels can, like, essentially go in and compete against varying levels. And so my guys, my brother-in-law's character, this like 3rd level rogue, 5th level monk, I think, was like, I want to challenge the champion tier. And I was like, that's meant for like 12th through 15th level characters. Sure, yeah, go for it. And so he was essentially fighting a, I can't remember the type of monster it was, but I made it essentially a sort of a outer armor with like a gnome inside, but he didn't know that. And so this monster has like this death lance, and each time he hit, it did just like insane amounts of damage. And so they went several rounds, and it came down to where like my brother-in-law could take literally like one more hit. Like if he got hit on his next turn, it was over. Ooh. And he needed to do like 41 points of damage to the other guy, and he did 40. And on his turn, the guy, like, he was like, all right, I'm going to get as far away as possible so that he can't close with me. Mm-hmm. And so on the NPC's turn, he threw the death lance at him. And with the, deflect missiles, and he's a Goliath, he combined those two things to reduce damage and reduced it so that he had 1 hit point left.
Oh.
And beat the guy on his next turn. I was like...
Hell
it was such an incredible moment, because when he didn't finish him, I was like, oh crap, he's going to lose this fight. And then he rolled literally max on his Stone's Endurance or whatever it is for Goliaths. Yeah. And that was just enough to keep him upright. Oh, and so cool. I was like, unbelievable. And then, of course, like, I had this NPC riding around with this voice being like, I will sacrifice you once I behead you. And then, like, they get out of the arena. The guy's been, like, restored by the arena clerics, and he just, like, disconnects the helmet once he gets out of the arena, and he's just this gnome, and he's like, that was a really good show, you should come back next week. And he was just like, what? He was threatening to sacrifice me.
Very cool.
I have a pretty good one recently. Did in game for years. I play a halfling monk who is a physician. He's a physician background. He's a doctor. Cool. And he also does a bit of alchemy because he makes healing potions and things. And at one point, he made some fire clay, which is essentially a bomb. This is a off the wall kind of game. So you got 3 of these bombs that do like 3d10 damage. And so we're in an underground cave fighting an adult purple dragon, which is a deep dragon. And since he's a monk, he's a high enough level, he runs up the wall and jumps onto the dragon's back, right? The dragon is going to lose, so it starts to flee, but he's on the dragon's back. Mm-hmm. So he, as we get far enough away from everyone, jumps off, uses slow fall to fall slowly, and hucks the bomb at the dragon and kills the dragon with a bomb. Incredible. And then, while falling, wraps up his wounds and heals himself.
Jeez.
That's amazing.
Stuff. My goodness.
So
y'all have had some pretty amazing games. That's really cool. Go, Andy.
Go ahead, Andy.
Sorry, Luna. No,
I saw you, Luna. I had literally nothing. So.
I had a character. I don't know if I would say that this was like the coolest moment, but it was definitely a cool moment. I had a character, I talk about her all the time. She was a halfling ranger, rogue fighter ranger, in that order, in a Pathfinder 1st edition campaign. And she became a little firecracker when she realized that she could jump off of things and attack at the same time, because the DM would let me do that. And so we were up on like a rampart, and there was an ogre attacking the town that we were in. And so I'm like, okay, and basically pull out my short sword, jump from the rampart straight down onto the ogre's head with my sword, like ready to stab as I come down. stab the ogre in the head, and then of course because I'm falling, the sword slides, and that's how I catch myself. Yeah, that definitely might have done some damage. It was pretty rad.
That sounds cool.
Man, that I just the sounds. I'm hearing a lot of sounds in my head. So I think I talked about this one last time, and David, I think it's the one shoe stumble duck whip scene.
Oh yeah, that was.
It's like that
nutty.
one's just my go-to. So like I probably said it before, but I just started playing, so I'm like a youngster and very easily angered DM,
a fledgling dungeon master.
And David's like, oh, so I can like make you angry for once. So like we're playing the Prince of the Apocalypse, and they're in like the fire temple or something, and it's the fire guys that explode when you get them down to 0 hit points. So it does a lot of damage because I think you guys are like level 5 or something. So like if it blew up, you guys were probably at least gonna get knocked out. So David, he's playing a gnome druid called One Shoe Stumble Duck. So,
one of the better names, of course.
hits the guy, uses all his turn to like get the guy down to 0 hit points, and I say, and you hear like a ticking coming from him, and he starts to glow, and then David's like, all right, like I want to get this body like away from the group because it was like a small area, and I was like, all right, well like you kind of used all your movement, and you've already like used your ability. And he's like, yeah, but I have Vine Whip, so I want to like run away and Vine Whip him and get him out of there. And I'm like, okay, like all right, come on, like what do you think this is? Like what is this, D&D or something? And so I'm like, all right, you can do that if you roll a natural 20. And David's like, oh yeah, and like he just like rolls it and just like slams the natural 20, and he's like, what now? Like what are you gonna do now? And I'm like, all right, I literally said this is the only way this would work, and so. I think back on that really fondly, even though I say it was kind of like making me angry. It was just like it was so perfect, and then it worked, and then you did it. And I think, David, didn't you do that again recently, where you were like,
I did.
where I was like, you have to roll a d20 to make, you have to roll a natural 20 to make that work, and you're like, all right, and then you did. I was like, what? Like what is going on here?
You can't challenge the dice gods like that, Andy. I've been telling you that as a DM.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
That is true.
I was just floored. I was like, this is ridiculous.
I think for mine, I mean, there's so many. There's so many amazing stories and folks out there who had the honor to play with. But recently, just talking about this collaboration again, we. For those of you who haven't listened to it yet, you should listen to it. But I'm going to spoil a little bit of the ending for you. We didn't tell myself, Chris Butari from Discount Dungeons, and Nick from Scry Society. We were all the DMs on that one. Chris was like the main DM, and like me and Nick were kind of behind the scenes, like just like helping him organize the shard maps and just all like just keeping things moving smoothly. But we sort of had an idea of where we wanted it to end because it was a one shot. They were all 17th level. We were like, oh, we just want this to be like very epic and memorable and just like this fun thing. And they're like all members of this legendary guild. Like they're the most elite members of this guild, and they have to go face off against this beholder who's trying to ascend to godhood. And there's anime phases in the final fight. And the first part of this is, and this is literally when I started playing clerics, because Vero from Discount Dungeons I think we calculated it. It was like over like 1,000 healing throughout that fight. Just like they were just like everything. It was wild. So I was like, wow, that was epic. Clerics are cool as hell. I want to do that. But then like the ending of it, we didn't tell the players this, but we're like the end of this is not going to be a happy ending. And like we mentioned that to all the players in the middle of recording after they'd gone through this like 6-hour battle, and like seeing all their faces of like realization of like there's only one way out of this basically, and like seeing all of them like laser focus in and like give these like final words for like each of these like epic like god tier level characters as they kind of like walk into the void and just like link arms and like if we're going down together kind of a thing. It was just like everybody was crying. It was like the most beautiful, just like we've only been playing these characters for like 8 hours. Why why is this so emotional? But like seeing that and like just like knowing like the impact like stories and like these characters can have on ourselves, like that, I think that's what I would like to say. Just like these epic like death scenes that you can just like get with characters that don't exist. It's like this is just my imaginary friend, and then like weeping and crying for it. Just so that that's it. That's the one. But, you should all listen to it though. It's very good. It's very long, but it's very good.
You mentioned not testing the dice gods with the D20 rolls. I stopped doing if you hit a natural 20, and I was like, my odds are better if I make them roll percentile dice against me. And so I always roll first, and I don't tell them what I rolled, and then I let them roll, and I say, did you roll higher or lower than me? Because I'm like, the odds are incredible. I've never won. They get me every time. There was one time that I think my brother-in-law rolled like a 48. So like higher or lower, he's like, my odds are pretty good here. And I rolled a 49, and he was like, higher. I was like, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I was so close.
All right. Did everybody get a chance to answer that?
I mean, I can keep answering if you want me to.
Well, I was going to say this might be a great place to pause and take a break.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we can always come back and talk about it some more afterwards. I know that we're going to get another question. I know we've got at least 2 in the hopper. I think we'll probably get another one because I saw Emily in chat and told her that we absolutely needed that question that Emily likes to ask. So that'll be good. And we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back in just a few minutes. So everybody has a chance to free the pee and refill drinks and all that good stuff. So we will see you in just a few.
Yeah.
All right, we are back from our break. We were having some more good conversation in the green room, and I seriously thought about bringing everybody back live without telling anyone, but I thought that would be kind of mean. So I've been known to do it before when there's a good conversation going on, and I'm like, people need to hear this, but sometimes things in the green room should stay in the green room. All right, so let's dive back into some of the questions that we have. Let's see.
Wait, hold on. Does that mean green rooms in Las Vegas are like the most secretive places in the world?
I mean, do you think they're not?
They're probably actually, yeah, they're probably pretty nasty. Now that I think about it.
I was like, I've been in a green room and many a dressing room, and they are also just as nasty. Don't you worry.
All right, sorry, Luna, take it away.
No, that's okay. We have one. I am totally going to butcher this person's name, and I am really, really sorry. Lorcalon? Lorcalon?
I think you got it.
Lorcalon. When not playing, do you generate multiple characters and keep them as backups? How many do you have at the moment?
Let me pull up my D&D Beyond.
I was going to say,
right.
personally, I don't. I have a few backup characters that are like characters I've used in other campaigns, and occasionally I recycle them, but I don't. Mostly because I have a free D&D Beyond account, and so I can only have 6 at a time.
I love making characters. It's nice to know that other people love making characters that they'll never use. Because I have an idea, I have a spark, I have an interest, or as usual, when I'm relaxing, trying to go to bed, I have, a TTRPG book open and I'm reading it like a normal book. So, but yeah, no, I know with Only Dan's, the fact that the last arc, my paladin almost died. I'm still scarred from that. I had 2 ideas for Dan-themed characters. But yeah, I'm so full of characters from so many different games.
Wait, so are all your characters Dan's too?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
No.
That's amazing.
There's Flix
weird.
Dan. There's Dan DeLion.
That's me.
There's Danae
for that,
Dravasi. There's Daan Jesse. There's Mimsy Dancourt. And what's Munchie's character?
Arthur Daniel Pebble. No, Green Pebble.
Green Pebble.
Arthur D.
Mimsy was funny too. Oh god, Mimsy was funny.
With
the stove.
Great. I miss her. Oh my gosh. There's a clip that we will get uploaded to our YouTube. Mimsy, played by Dana, Mistress Dana RPG on Twitter. She shattered me. She broke me as a DM. I cried. I had to take like a pause to put my head down. Essentially to aid in Danny's deception role, where they were pretending to be like researchers, she pulled out a bar of soap and she was like, yes, the readings are good, this is definitely it. And I was like, with a bar of soap?
You narrated a bar of soap.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we were trying to be portal researchers.
Yeah, I was like, roll like a sleight of hand or a deception or something to like make it so, like a sleight of hand to make it so that they don't see that it's a bar of soap. And she rolled just stupid high, and I was like, yeah, no, that works. Yeah, they think you're bar of soap.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
That's great. I think I started like making characters when I first got into D&D, and then I realized how little I actually played. And then how so then I was like I should probably hold up on this for a second. But I made a bunch at first. I'm just looking at my D&D Beyond. I have 12.
Those are some rookie numbers, brother.
Yeah,
Rookie numbers.
Because I stopped myself. I was like, am I ever going to actually play these people? So, but I wish I did. Or I wish I have. Because it is a lot of fun to create them and never been easier. D&D Beyond, never been easier. So
I have 56 characters on D&D Beyond.
Whoa!
But most of them are just like NPCs or characters I've made for other games, but I absolutely recycle these a lot of times when I need something quick. Like,
we have 56 of them.
Yeah, the most literally most of them. Like, here's all the ones for like Guardians of the Storm. Here's some stuff I did with D&D and Big D. So there's just like a bunch in there. But yeah, like I've definitely in like a pinch I've pulled up that sheet and just been like, oh, Guff Leatherhead, you are now a pirate on a ship, and you are
He's a pitchmaster.
He's the pitchmaster.
Our boys in blue.
We have this like weird running joke from afar. There's like the guy who just like pitches the ship is just like extremely graceful and like Cirque du Soleil acrobatic the way he does it. And Guff Leatherhead, he used to be a cleric. He used to be trying to fight a dragon, but no. Now he is an acrobatic shipwright.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
I think we would know more ship terms having written a nautical and starring in a nautical podcast.
Where do you steer the ship from? Couldn't tell you. Which side is port? Which side is starboard? Couldn't tell you.
You know the
What's
words.
that big? Yeah, I know the words. I just throw them in there every once in a while.
Yeah.
But sorry, what was the actual question?
How many characters do you make?
Okay.
Do you typically make them in your spare time, right? Basically.
Yeah.
Let's say I share a D&D Beyond with my partner, and we both run games for other people, like new players a lot. And so I have a ton of pre-mades for games. We have 117 characters.
Hell yes!
I was just looking. I'm like, I mean, it's the two of us, and a lot of them are just like characters I've never played, like Forest Gnome Bisbee Bobble Rock, or Jolly Holly, the Elf Paladin, or all these things like Jaws Ladelli. Things like that. But all these names of people I never played, none of us have probably ever played, but it's like, here's a list of them. Sheets you can play if you want.
That's like a great library to have. You can just pull it up at any point. Especially if you're a spellcaster, that'd be really nice. If you just had like a spellcaster with like spells already in there.
People more often than I think they will. People are like, give me a pre-made for a game. I'm like, oh yeah, here's 20. Pick one.
Here's 117. Good luck choosing.
So can I ask like a weird tangent question?
Sure.
Speaking of all the characters we've made. Oh wait, sorry, did everyone have a chance to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of, it seems like between all of us we have quite a few characters that we've made. And this isn't even counting those on the fly NPCs. What's like some of the favorite names you've come up with? Because like I feel like that's like a fun thing that like players and DMs and whoever has to do, where it's just like, sorry, go for it.
This thing, I'm talking. I once actually I have a halfling I've never been able to use.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Emmy, but her full name is Emerald Daggerblood, but she was an orphan. And the person who adopted her gave her that name. She doesn't like the name Emerald, but she prefers to go by Emmy. And it was just a random thing I came up with. And for some reason, I love it to death.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
In an NPC I run for a lot of my games, there's a transmutation wizard who gets transformed into a frog, but true polymorphs himself, and they have to go find the things to fix him. But his name is Garth Buzzletwig. My name is Garth Buzzletwig. Nice to meet you. He's a dorky wizard. But
I love that.
That's a good one. I played a halfling ranger who was Bailey Bolly for a long time. It's always really fun.
Your names are great.
I think my favorite was when David, Andy, and I all played siblings.
Oh no,
Luna! I think about that.
I talk about it all the time.
On a weekly basis.
we played siblings for a charity stream, and because it was a charity stream, my character's name was Charity. Because it was a charity stream, so naturally it was about her.
That's right. Oh my god, that was amazing. You had marinara lipstick.
And marinara lipstick because we were pizza people. Like like Pizza the Hut people
Yeah, we were Pizza the Hut people in a bowling event.
in a bowling event. And so, yeah, she wore marinara lipstick. She was so good.
That is, to this day, one of my favorite games I've ever played.
Yeah.
That was so chaotic.
So good. So
Eddie,
good.
what was your name for that?
Oh shoot, what was it?
Oh, it was
Baby
you remember?
Nine
Baby Nine Pins!
Baby Nine Pins. He was the little mafioso brother.
I had a regenerative skin disorder, so my skin was extra doughy, and I just was.
Regenerative skin disorder.
You were Brunswick. That was
Yes.
such a.
Yeah, Brunswick, who was about to take over the mafia family that we came from.
Yeah. Were you John Brunswick? I think you were John Brunswick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was John. I was trying to go for a John Wick, but I was a pizza boy. That also just the way that ended.
That. Yeah.
The way that ended was probably the most epic thing I've seen in TTRPGs. Like the way
Seth did such a good job.
Seth was
the way
so good.
So there was a role. There was a donation like people could do that would just reset the game and transport it to another world basically. And in the final, which all three of us lost round one because we were just we were just chuckle. Well, we were just being silly.
Yeah, no, you can say what we were.
We were chuckle fucking it up. And I forget who exactly played in the end, but they got it was several $100 donations right in a row. So he switched the game 5 times right in a row.
Right.
And then it was this wildly epic. It was so cool. And there was bowling pins flying everywhere and bowling balls getting shot out of cannons and alcoholic milkshakes, and it was literally so wild and
crazy.
It was very fun.
Very good. Very good.
So good. Oh my god.
I think, man, I've been just looking at my names. I think my favorite one I've made, which I'm pretty sure I just started saying noises, was Plupple Be Welby. I don't know. The name Plupple just was really funny to me.
Oh, I like that so much.
Plupple.
Yeah. Just sounds so dumb.
Oh, I know. So this wasn't one of my characters, but my character, I've talked about this before. I played a very mini Starfinder campaign not too long ago, and we managed to capture an assembly ooze, and we named it Uzi Oozeborn.
Uzi Oozeborn. That's delightful. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I was really proud of that.
A lot of geniuses in this chat right now. A lot of geniuses on the call. Come on.
I think one of my favorite names I've come up with, and I'm just looking through my shit or my stuff here, and it's. I think this will surprise you, Andy, because I come up with names for fun. It's just something that I do.
No.
But there's one that I thought was really cool sounding. It was for a cyberpunk game we played. His name was Driver Cyberchip, and I don't know why. I think that's the coolest name ever. I'm Driver Cyberchip. Look at me. So silly.
And his real name is Eugene.
Eugene.
Oh damn! It's not disappointed. That's a new. I haven't heard that one yet. Oh my god!
You played with him. You played with Driver
Cyberchip. I did. Oh man, it was funny. That's what it was.
It's all good.
I'm not usually super creative with coming up with names because when I try to come up with names, I just think of people's names that I actually know. I'm like, no. What if I hate the character? I'll hate the person.
Yeah.
I get that.
But for Auroriath, I came up with names for all of the deities of Auroriath, and I based them on old languages, Central and Eastern European languages. And I think of my favorite, I'm a big fan of the one that Daniel's character follows. She's a goddess of nature, Luanti Tirmetsa. But my favorite one is Decaeus Thunthera, which, based on Decaeus, you probably guessed correctly, she is a goddess of death. But I love that one. It just it rings so true to being a goddess of death, just Decaeus. But I did a ton of research and looked into like root words in old languages to symbolize that meant death and nature and light and trickery and all of these things. And I like pulled bits and pieces from different languages to make these names.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really neat when he sent the email out of everything he had. It's like, wow, you really put some thought into this. It's like, I'm almost intimidated.
Yeah. We should say we play only Dan's in Dan's homebrew world he made, Aurora,
Nice.
which was crazy. Me being the other DM who has not made any of the world, just being like, yeah. So it's like the cool name that I put in is this ancient elf named Hideliel Hidezriel.
He's so old.
I love that name. I love
That's a
that
great
name
name.
so much. And I love Hideliel. He's such a fun character.
Why did you do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Ancient.
I have to finish Arc 2 and do Arc 3's recaps, but Hideliel does the recaps of the episodes. And he's just this grumpy old elf, and he narrates, and he's a stonemason, and so every time I do it, I have him. It's in his shop, and he's always like, "Have you come here to buy something?" "No, you've come here for a story about the Dans." "Okay."
Oh,
I've just got so much stone. And nobody has anything, please.
Last time we saw him, I narrated he was making his own gravestone.
Yes, he was. He was working on his own gravestone.
Like, if anyone's going to make it, it's going to be me.
wow, what a flex though! Like, get my own gravestone. That's wonderful. And I think names. I don't know. I love like all aspects of TTRPGs, but I feel like names are always just really interesting. Like just seeing how people's like minds work, and like because like names can mean so much, and like you were saying, Dan, or is it Danny or Daniel? I forget. Dan. Okay.
I don't-
Like you were saying, Dan. Like finding like the meaning and like the root words, you can like put so much thought behind it, or you can just call someone like Chumble Butt Snatchington, like, and it's still like, yeah, Chumble Butt, you're here.
You need to write that one down, Dave.
All right, I'll do it.
So with that, what was the name that we were talking about earlier? Our detective that we were talking about.
Oh, Moose
Mooselick
Lick McGunkin.
Mooselick, I can't believe
Hey.
McGunkin.
It's Moose Lick McGunkin. Can't forget him, boy.
Oh man,
Solving crimes.
This might be
If,
a super far reach back or throwback. Did you guys ever listen to Adventures in Odyssey?
No.
Okay, there's a
Focus on the
private.
family.
It's we grew up very Christian, so it was a very Christian. So don't blame me for not watching it. But there was a private eye that was like named Harlow Doyle, and
Harlow Doyle.
he had the dumbest sounding voice. Like
Harlow
it was.
Doyle?
Yeah. And so that's how I imagine Moose Lick sounding. Like, but if you could do both those, if you get like a Scottish, like really like dopey, like like sounding.
My name is.
It
It becomes Cockney immediately.
Possibly
Immediate.
I love that all of you immediately started trying. That makes me so happy.
Boy, that's a difficult combination.
I see Daniel just
One,
shaking his head. He's like, "What?"
Yeah. I want Mooselick to show up as a private eye in every single podcast that is in the TTRPG. He's like the world jumper.
He's the connection. He's the friend we've been looking for all along.
Moose
On
Lick.
it. Tune into Arc 4 of Only Dan's for me.
I mean, it's coming up.
It's coming up.
You might see him in an episode of From Afar
If
one of
I
these
don't,
days.
I'd be so
please.
sad.
That's amazing.
I'm just waiting for the day that somebody actually heads, because there's a place in Maine, in Rangeley, Maine, where you can see this lake with a funny name. Someone's going to go up and they'll go, "Hey, that name sounds familiar."
They're gonna be like,
That's in
"Hey,
those
wait,
D&D shows."
that must be the name that I can't pronounce when it's written, but I heard them say it on that TTRPG talk show."
Guckin'. So good.
I'm going to be banned from going to Rangeley now.
All right, right. Well, while we're on the topic of what people sound like, this is probably one of my favorite questions ever. And I feel like we have a really good group for it tonight. So Emily asked the question that is not a question. Give us your best 60-second villain monologue, open to anybody who would wish to participate.
Oh, shit.
That's a long time.
Oh.
60 seconds is not short.
We're not actually timing you, so.
Oh, I'll give it a shot if no one else wants to do it.
Yeah, it's all you, Dave. Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to have to not look at you all when I do this.
No, stare into the camera.
Yeah. Okay. So you finally found me, Moose-Lick McGuckin. It's times like this that I realize that our wits have been matched since day one, Moose-Lick. You are the enemy that I have seen in my dreams. You are the face that will launch 1,000 ships as long as you remember the one thing. You can't swim in the lake in... What did you say? Riley? Where are you from, Riley? Rangeley McGucket! Rangeley Moose-Lick! And time to fight, Moose-Lick! And that's it.
That was so good.
That was so much nonsense.
Very good.
That's
very good.
Yo, if you like nonsense, listen to From Afar podcast, because that is how we do it.
About
It's true.
90% of our episodes.
Absolutely can confirm, because I'm still, only like a year behind where they're currently releasing. But,
Man, I lost it, David, when you said moose. When you brought in the moose,
Yeah.
I lost it.
Oh, died.
That's how we do.
I had to mute myself.
I remember, was it 2 weeks ago or last week when Matt from Spontaneum did that, and it was like actually, or no, Mark Garcuccia actually was like talking, like
Yeah.
he legitimately was like talking about like politics and like world building stuff. I was like, Mark, how are you making this on the fly?
right? I know.
What a wonderful human being.
Yeah, he would hit it. He would hit it hard. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I like how you just cocked a shotgun out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate BBEG weapon. I see you have a sword. Dummy.
Brought a sword to
hoping-
a shotgun fight.
That guy saying dummy is insane.
Oh man, oh man.
I think I just invented the
I
final.
can't follow that. I'm not even gonna try.
I was like, my brain goes, okay, what voice is the villain voice today?
Right, yeah. I was trying to come up with one, and I was bouncing between just this deep raspy voice and something more like this.
I keep going with a kind of a New Yorker kind of vibe when I think of mine. It's like, hey, you come in here, you think, oh, you're a hero. You call me a villain? But I'm out here feeding the people. And my people, I know your people need food, but mine need food more. It's a starvation climate out there. Why, if I make a little money off it, what's wrong with that? You think you're better than me?
That's not 60 seconds, but that's the whole monologue.
That was pretty good. Get him, Moose-Lick.
with the classic New York ending. You think you're better than me?
Think you're something special.
I'm walking here.
Walking here.
That was a movie that was interesting.
Thanks, that feels like a compliment.
That was delightful. Well done.
Oh
was
man,
very, very
that's
fun.
genius. I'm gonna just clip those monologues and just play them on repeat for a little while.
The old mind clip.
I really
Set
wish
them
I
up
could
here.
do a villain monologue in like an authentic Maine accent, but I can't because my father's from Maine, but he doesn't speak with a Maine accent. My mother's from Rhode Island, and she's definitely doesn't have an accent, but if I villain monologue, it's going to be filled with nonsense as long as everybody understands that.
That's all good.
That's
Most
what
of
it's
them
all
are.
about. That's
I
what
was
it's all
saying,
about.
I think judging from these other two monologues, that'd be right.
Yeah.
Right as rain.
Bring in the nonsense, Daniel.
I actually
it
had
in.
a villain monologue in my in-person game, and one of the players laughed at me, and I'm like, she's like, I can't take him seriously. I'm like, might as well not, but
Yeah.
so.
That is. We got it.
So, you have arrived. I suppose you were wondering why I mutated ducks with saber teeth. Well, obviously, if, you're not a dummy, you know the answer to that. But you mustn't stop my experiment. Those ducks need those teeth to survive the winter. And then once I figure out how to put the woolly coats on them, I'll be all set. But no matter. You will not stop my plan, no matter how hard you try. Where's Sir Ducking? Sir Duckington! He's got the biggest saber teeth. He'll take care of you. Okay, yeah, he's here. All right, let's fight.
The line, "The ducks need those teeth for the winter," is the best one I've ever heard.
So good.
I'm going to drop that into out of context quotes in my Discord server.
Please.
Yeah, I think my wife's
Marvelous.
gonna hate me for that because I have a tendency of spouting random stuff about nature that isn't true. And she looks at me like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's coming to me." I joke to her that here in Maine, the duck needs saber teeth and woolly coats to survive the winter, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just happens."
Is there a winter region of Auroriath where there's not ducks?
Yeah, there for sure. Yeah,
Now there is.
The northern reaches of the Battlelands, they gotta have them. They gotta have them to survive.
Well, everything up there is
the
woolly and
Icewind
saber
Dale.
teeth, right?
Yeah, everything.
Everything. Man, that really just.
That was amazing.
I thought
phenomenal.
I knew where we were going, and it
And
was
nope.
not
You don't know me quite
there.
that well yet.
I love that. I love the 180s of a conversation. Those are my favorites.
That was
A little
so
whiplash. Get a
But-
lot of that.
Daniel, you said something that I super resonate with. Like when you're trying to be super evil and like, "Ooh, I'm the BBEG," and your players are just like, "No, you're not." Like
You're my friend.
I feel that like so many times I'm like, all right, this is the time. This is the NPC that's going to be super evil, and then it never happens. So I feel on that.
Yeah, I mean, all I had was a logging boss who was murdering dryads, and I was trying a little bit to be evil, but it was so cliched that, like I said, the player laughed at me. I'm like, I probably laughed too. She's like, I can't take you seriously.
At the end of the day, we're all
players
friends.
the only way I get my players to take me seriously is to go with the creepiest voice I can imagine, rather than scary and evil, just as creepy as I can. The last time I did it was actually I had what is it, the Jubliex, one of the demon princes, like captive in this mage's lair, and one of the players decided that she was going to try and communicate with it telepathically, and I was like, that's a delightfully bad idea. and so I did this every time it talked. I was like, and
Winner.
my sister.
You win.
That was great. That was incredible.
My sister was just like, "Stop it! Stop it! Please stop! I don't like this anymore."
That's
That's crazy.
that was great. Oh my gosh, that was a great voice.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, we have some great voices on Only Dan's.
Trying to be
I
quick
can.
as possible. Oh, hi, hello. You need? Who are you? Like just like the most monotone kind of vibraty voice you can make.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
feel like-
want your arms back? Things like that.
Blood's supposed to stay inside your body.
Oh man, I feel like the G-Man from like Half-Life would make he obviously does have a great villain voice, so that would be a good one. Like not it's like something not human trying to sound human. It's like you're almost there.
So close.
So close.
Oh,
Dang, that's a great question. Thank you, Emily.
I know. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, so Sean from Paradise Productions has a question for
What up,
everybody.
Sean?
Hi, Sean. And I know where this question is coming from. Sean would like to know, has anyone ended a campaign before, and do you have any advice?
Wait, did they just... Is that today or is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Paradise.
wow.
No, I have never entered a campaign before. But I've entered a lot of stories before. And it's bittersweet, for sure. It's always like this weird sort of, did I do it right? Did I do it... did I do this justice? But Sean, I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt, because I've listened to the majority of your silly little show. No, it's excellent. That you're a master storyteller, dude. Like, no matter what you choose, like, but you and the whole crew, like the stuff you got going on, like, just do. What am I trying to say here? Just try to like believe in yourself and like honor yourself and the players, because like you've done an amazing job driving this ship. And goddamn, I just got a little bit emotional thinking that Paradise is ending. Oh my gosh.
I think it's just this campaign, right?
Just the campaign, yes. But still, like,
okay.
this,
I was like, wait a minute.
there's like so much to it.
Yeah.
But sorry, yeah, that would in
I never finished
general.
the campaign, so I Sean, I will hope that you can tell me how it goes after tomorrow.
Right?
I have also never ended a campaign, so.
I have. I ended it was a Mad Max style D&D campaign where they ended in a kind of epic death race situation, which was fun because we were playing virtually, but I wanted to have Hot Wheels and everything, so I had I made a little racetrack in my apartment and carried the camera around and did everything. Which was very fun. Built jumps and everything. It was very fun.
That's so good.
But yeah, no, it's always hard, but it's like I feel like whenever I end a campaign, it's always like, but maybe we'll do another little story sometime. Don't forget this character. I think that's always, even if you honestly never will, the that you might be very good, in the heart. Never actually have to let anyone. But yeah, they also fought MF Doom, the Ghost. It was great in that game. Yeah, no, I mean, advice is impossible for that. It's gonna be hard and it's gonna be also fun. I mean, but I don't know. Yeah, that's all I got for it. It's gonna be hard and it'll be fun. I'll say that another time. It'll be hard and it'll be fun.
Yeah, I know I've fallen into the pitfalls, I'm sure a lot of people have, where you start a game, you try to get people together, and then things fall apart. So yeah, I don't think I've ever finished a game, although I'm hoping my wife and I will finish the Essentials kit when we're on vacation, because she has a camp up in the middle of nowhere. So we're hopefully going to finish that. And then I don't know where my in-person game is going to end, if that's going to end. And then it's also funny, too, hearing other people's end, because I just, another podcast I listened to, it wasn't an actual play, it was an advice D&D thing. They just released their last episode, and I heard about it today, and it made me very sad. But I mean, everything comes to an end, so.
Yeah. What podcast was that, dude? For us that might want to listen.
It's passive aggressive perception. Ivan and
Passive
Steve
aggressive.
have really good ideas and thoughts. It's system agnostic TTRPG thing. They have like 60 something episodes. They're so much fun to listen to. If you ever want some really good advice, they're a hoot to listen to. It's just sad that they had to end, but they have other things that they want to do.
Sean, we're gonna call you in about 36 hours.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like, Sean, what do you got for us? What do you got for us?
That's such a good question though, because I feel like there's been so many. We've all started games that haven't finished for a million reasons, but what is it like to finish a game? I think the only thing that I've done close is like finishing arcs in a story, but like you have that little like crutch of like, it's still going on though. Like Sean, you'll have to let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Dang.
I know.
Sorry, Sean. We talked more about silly names than helping you out.
I think that it's kind of crazy if you think about how many people haven't finished a campaign. I would say it's like
just
less
thinking
than
that.
Yeah, like probably less than. I mean, if you take just this group, it's less than 10. There's 6 of us. Oh God, it's not a high number.
Small percent.
It's a very small percent. Yeah.
And like, if you think about how many campaigns you've been a part of, like I can think of at least 4 I've been a part of or started, not finishing. So it's kind of crazy. It's like, man, are campaigns too long, or are they? Is there a way maybe to make them more accessible or more easily finished? Because it's like I think everyone has that similar feeling of like, I haven't finished a campaign, or I've only finished 1 or maybe 2.
So we actually had a campaign that, as the players, we felt like, and this was years and years ago, we actually felt like it was going on too long. We had sort of lost track of the storyline. We were all just kind of like, whatever. And so one day our party got on, we were getting on a ship to go do something, and we commandeered the ship and went, we're all pirates now. End of campaign.
That's a great end.
I mean, we just like,
bring me that horizon.
Because we kept getting to the point where, and we told the DM this, like, we'd have some big epic climactic something or other happen, and then we'd be like, oh, and we're still going. Oh, and we're still going. And we're still going. Like, okay, so finally, we had conversations with the DM about it. I know it sounds like kind of a crappy thing to do to the DM, but we'd had this conversation with them, and we were like, hey, look, but he didn't want to listen, so we took matters into our own hands.
Well,
it's important to be able to find an end as a storyteller, and that can be really difficult.
Yeah.
And as a DM, especially, like if you've created your own world and you've put a ton of energy into like mapping out this campaign, like that can be hard to let go of, especially if you didn't have an end in sight from the start. If you were like, this is like the first arc and then we'll see where it goes. Like, it's hard to let go of that and be like, okay, this is where it went, and that's the end, if you never had an end in sight from the beginning.
Yeah.
So we're on arc 4 of 12 for Only Dance. There will only be 12.
Only 12.
Only.
And then there will be another campaign.
Arc is like 3 or 4 episodes.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
That's something that I think I don't want to say struggle with, but because when we started From Afar, one of the things I literally said, I was like, I just want to make a really long campaign. Like, and now knowing what that entails and what that takes, I probably would have, if I was doing it again, probably put a cap on it, like, 80 episodes, whatever. Like, but I started prepping for From Afar. The way I write scripts is like, I find the ending, and then like I work backwards from there. So like, I've known at least where I want this current story to end. I don't know if we're gonna get there, but it's that hearing that what you're saying, Luna, about the DM who wouldn't listen to the players. I think that's a I hate to be this blunt about it, but like a pretty huge misstep. Like I know as DMs and players and stuff, we're always trying to keep our secrets. Like, ooh, I want this big cool reveal. But I think that's good. I think that's great. I think like having those cool character moments and like DM twists. Where
Yeah.
Like, oh, but the friends along the way. Like, but I think maybe not just definitely in like a podcast format, but maybe even also in home game format. Like I think you're doing yourself a huge disservice by like ignoring like a good portion of your brain by like not bringing your characters or your players into like hey, like this is kind of where like you can still be secretive about it, but like hey, this is kind of where I'm thinking this is going to end. Like does that work for you? Like what kind of ending do you want? How does Arius want to end their story? Like how can we together work towards this? And like I know that kind of goes against a lot of classic DM or Dungeons and Dragons stuff where you're trying to, like I said, keep those secrets and twists and stuff. But I think especially in a podcast format, like because you have to think of, it's a show. We're making a show for audience members, and if you have if you have two people in the driver's seat, you're not going to get to where you ultimately want to go.
Yeah.
It's an interesting ending campaigns. That's an interesting topic. Just got nervous, actually. That was weird.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Dave.
Don't look at me. Oh yeah, that's right. Shannon is happy. Oh, sorry, I keep reading. I gotta stop reading chat. We're here. We're focusing in on this.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Shannon is having a baby, and then sometimes that kind of thing, like real life, gets in the way. It's just a thing that happens.
It does, and it's. I think it's tough, like in a podcast format, like or like a live D&D format, because like you do have to find that balance of like giving your story and your players and your characters enough room to like fully grow and develop.
Yeah.
But also like it's very easy to get like over bloated and just like oh, there's like 500 storylines going on and so many threads and stuff. Like it's very easy to feel overwhelmed in these stories. But like finding that balance of like a good length and a good amount of episodes and a good amount of content versus like what the story actually needs, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, we're about at the point where we need to start working on wrapping up. I know. It's sad.
I think we need a part 2 for this.
There is going to be a part 2. It's when we get together and write vehicles.
Yeah.
Vehicles. I make it the darkest, most grisly system in existence.
And that junkyard. I mean,
super crunchy.
Right? Super crunchy.
I'm gonna bury you like I buried lightning.
Oh, is Mater the BB?
Mater's the bad guy.
I've had enough of you, Radiator Springs. Taste my wrath.
He's a necromancer, right? He works in the junkyard. I mean,
well, I'm sorry. Did you say necromancer or mecromancer?
Oh, even better. I did say necro, but that's better.
Oh my gosh. All right. So let's go around again. We'll have everybody remind us of who you are, where we can find you on social media, stuff like that. Anything else you want to share, promote, talk about, whatever. We're going to go in the reverse order of when we started. So we're going to start with Daniel this time, and we'll go around the other way. So Daniel, tell us about who you are.
Again.
Yeah.
I am still Daniel. I haven't had my name changed yet. I'm at...
It'd be rough for the show if you did. So,
right, man. If that happened during the stream, I've got to get with it and change the overlay. And
I know if anyone's read Stephen King, but weird shit happens in Maine all the time.
Truth.
But I'm at Burnell Dan on Twitter. I'm also part of Only Dan's, which everybody should totally listen to because we're a fun bunch of people, especially the Dan's you didn't see today. I wish I had more to promote, but I just kind of flutter around Twitter and Instagram, just seeing all the stuff. So
just a fluttering.
Yeah.
Just a fluttering by.
Well, on Instagram, all my wife and I do is just send memes to us back and forth, even though we're sitting right next to each other.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds like my relationship with my wife.
Sounds like my relationship with just about everybody.
That's true. Like, wait a minute, huh? Hey everybody, I'm Andy. David Tilstra's little brother. But ironically, I'm older than him. I don't get it. So I play Arius Onos on From Afar Podcast, a crotchety old samurai guy. So you can find me at From Afar Podcast Twitter. I run the Twitter, but you can also find me personally if you really want to at Gleetaro. I will not respond to anything you send me, and that's a threat. But this Friday, we're going to be running a stream for Guardians of the Storm. David mentioned it earlier. It is a kind of like a behind-the-scenes wrap-up stream, which is really cool because it's been about 2 years in the making. So if you can join, please do. You'll hear some phenomenal DMs from Chris and Nick and David. So you hear some of their perspectives on that. Also running, how many people? Was it a 10-person one-shot? Nine, yeah. And we were all 17th level, hitting like crazy stuff. So that's going to be very interesting. I'm really excited. And that's going to be on Friday, probably around 8 or 9 EST. On our Twitch. So check out the socials for that at From Afar Podcast.
Very cool. All right. David.
Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you, Luna. And thank you to the cast of this show. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've needed these laughs. So, my name is David Telstra. I'm the Dungeon Master for From Afar Podcast. My Discord is blowing up right now, and it's distracting me. I'm the Dungeon Master for From Afar Podcast. You can find me at David Telstra. You can find us at From Afar Podcast, and I think there's links and stuff in the chat. I do voice acting. I do dungeon mastering. I'm on shows with Waffles Maple Syrup. This Tuesday, I'm on a show with Matt from Spontaneum. We're playing 14th level. We don't know what yet because it's all improvised on the spot. And yeah, like Andy said, this Friday we're doing the Guardians of the Storm thing. So check us out. We'd love to hang out with you on our Discords and Twitters and stuff. But more importantly, check out Only Dan's because these cats are cool. And that's it for me.
Awesome. David, a pleasure as always. Thank you for coming on and hanging out. Danny.
Hey, I'm Danny. You can met as DannyNat20 everywhere. Not all on that just because I pray for them. But you can find me on Only Dan's D&D as well as at startplaying.game/DannyNat20. I wanted to plug, our game, right? And I also wanted to plug in January. My partner is Claire, after all, on Twitch, is doing a huge charity stream for Brave Space Alliance in Chicago, where we live, which is they help a lot of people, especially marginalized people, LGBTQ people in the city, find things. She's hoping to raise like $5,000 or more dollars. So last year we did a stream for them on her birthday with just like no prompt, and we raised like $2,000. So we're really hoping to do a bunch more with a lot more planning this year.
Wow.
There's gonna be a lot of different people running games on there. Also soon I should be doing some work on Heroes and Hooligans Eyes of Fate podcast, where I will be playing a ghost. So find me on the internet, especially at Only Dan's. And I should say, we are looking for more Dans. We like to switch out Dans and add Dan, so have Dan in your name anywhere. Free to contact us, NCND, on Twitter.
There you go. Invitation is out there. So awesome. Danny, thank you so much. I'm really glad we got a chance to have you back on.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
And make sure to check out Far From Away podcast. Those guys are really cool cats. So
try to get a hold of them for weeks. Jesus.
Those assholes.
And Dan.
Hi, I'm still Dan also. You can find me exclusively on Twitter because I'm not on the Instagrams or anything like that. At DungeonMaster33. And you can catch me playing Flixton Frozen Rose on Only Dan's D&D, and soon back in the DM seat for Arc L, not 4.
Yeah.
L. What does that stand for? You'll have to tune in and find out. Next Sunday, October 9th, we will be going live at 3 p.m. Central. So you can tune in and catch the Dans in action. Danny, Daniel, myself, Munchie
Danny,
Dan,
Dan.
and Danny Jade. All the Dans, maybe more Dans. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
You never know. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. This has been a pleasure to have you all. And I did change my name during the stream, so I am also now Dan. And no. Let's see. I am still and forevermore will be Gamer Mom Luna. And this has been Tales from the Tavern. And we're here every Sunday night for the next 3 weeks. And that's it. True story. October 30th will be the last episode of Tales from the Tavern. So I am very glad that you all were here tonight and that we had a chance to have some good laughs and some good times. But some upcoming things that I would like to share. Next weekend, I will be hosting and Tales from the Tavern next week will be part of this event. I will be hosting Dreamy Ray. If you know her, then you know she is a very awesome person. And she is putting together a fundraising stream, a series of streams, starting on Friday, going through Sunday night, ending with Tales from the Tavern. And we are raising funds for a nonprofit called Casa de Colores. And they are... Basically, they specialize in the survival and safety of LGBTQ plus migrant refugees, predominantly trans refugees that are coming out of Central and Latin America. And you can visit casadecolores.org to see more information about them. But if that's something that you are... if you are interested in, 2 weeks, not next weekend, the weekend after.
Okay, that
14th
scared
through the
the
16th.
shit out of me.
Yeah. I'm getting ahead of myself. 14th through the 16th. And definitely give that a look if you're even remotely interested in that. But there's also just going to be a lot of really cool TTRPG content. Like I said, starting on Friday, going all the way through Sunday. It's going to be right here on this channel. So please drop by and see all the cool stuff that they have going on. I am really thrilled to say I didn't have to organize any of it. They did all of it. So I'm really excited to see all the stuff that they've got planned. I know there's some giveaways going on and all kinds of really cool stuff. So definitely give that a check. Let's see what else. Shadowmane.com. That's the blog that I've been writing for lately. That's you can microdose Tales from the Tavern every Wednesday over there. And when I say microdose, I mean we post one like 2-minute long interview with one person, so you can check that out. There's some fun questions. We've had some fun guests already, and we've got people scheduled out all the way through December at this point. So you can check that out. Tomorrow I have a blog post publishing talking about what the heck is that stuff called? Brain goblins, basically, imposter syndrome. And sharing about if you missed the episode when B. Dave Walters was on, he actually answered that question and talked about his experience with it. So you might want to check that out too, shadowmane.com. And that's it. That's all I got. That's all my announcements for tonight. So we are going to drop a raid over to Indigo Chameleon. They're playing some D&D tonight. And we will see you all next Sunday. Have a great evening, everybody. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. You're all
Have fun.
amazing.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Tales from the Tavern. You can catch this podcast recorded live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/GamerMomLuna. All of our questions come directly from chat, so we never really know what to expect when we go live. If you ever have a question or would like to add something to the conversation, feel free to reach out on Twitter at GamerMomLuna and use the hashtag TFTT. You may just get to hear it answered. Thanks so much.
I should go.